Going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Mike, how you doing?
I'm
We
good.
can hear you,
Can you
Mike.
hear me? Hey, guys.
Yep, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Been a long time there, my friend.
I know. How you been?
Can't complain, I guess. How about you?
I got no complaints, man.
I hear you. Got about 2 minutes here, and then we'll get started.
That's cool. I'm getting my stuff all squared away here myself.
I just made you the co-host, so you can share whatever you need to.
Okay.
All right, we're right at 6:30, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank everyone for joining and uh, your commitment and growth as basketball officials is what keeps this organization going and what keeps every organization going. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking your time out. Tonight, we're going to have our guest speaker, Mike Millione. For those who do not know Mike, um, Mike's been around for a while. I've had the pleasure of starting my career or off in JUCO with Mike. We've worked at many different levels. Um, I will say my most notable game with Mike was actually, and I don't know if Mike, if you remember this, 2013 at the 4A state championship game, Magruder and Eleanor Roosevelt. Interesting stat that I can't get out of my brain is I think Magruder shot about 43s and zero free throws that game, and they lost by a couple points. So,
Well, yeah, yeah.
Um, um,
Pat
um,
Harwood and his dad have not let me forget that interesting stat.
absolutely, absolutely. So, I'm going to let Mike.
Excuse me, Chris. Tim
Yes.
Morton here. I'm sorry to buzz you really quick, but just to give some laughter. Um, I was on the Eleanor Roosevelt team, but go ahead. God bless you.
Well,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
this
yeah. 38, 39. We still talk about it to this day. 1 point, man. That was our second loss of the year, but you got it. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You guys helped me become a pro. Okay, I took that game with me for all my career, and I bring it to officiating. You got it.
no, no problem, man. No problem.
Love it. Love it.
So, without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to Mike. Mike has a lot of knowledge of the game, and we can all learn from stuff from him. So, Mike, it's all yours.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Um, so Sean asked me to give you guys a little background about myself, how I got started in officiating and where I am now. So I played in high school. I played at Walkersville, a small 2A school out in Western Maryland. Went on to play in Frostburg. And while I was playing there, the women's head basketball coach was also the intramural director. And they were having problems with some of the fraternity guys during the rec league. And so she approached some of the basketball players about coming and refereeing the games. We had zero training. She just gave us a whistle, gave us a shirt, and said, at least the fraternity guys, they'll respect you because you're on the team. So just go out there, call whatever, make sure there's no fights, and that's all I want. So that's kind of how I got started in officiating. Um, After that, I graduated. I was working, and there was a lady who ran this little kids third and fourth grade league down the street from my house. And I don't know how, but somehow somebody gave her my information, said, hey, this kid might do it. So at the time, I don't know, it was $20 a game or something like that. And I could work 6 or 8 games on a Saturday. And when I graduated, that was pretty good money. And it was better than working a part-time job at a fast food restaurant or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'm all in. I did that for a couple of years, and as I was doing that, some of the guys who were refereeing high school basketball, their kids were in this league. And so a couple of them approached me and said, hey, why don't you learn how to really do this? And so that's kind of how I got started. I never thought that I would enjoy refereeing. I was never one to, get technical fouls or anything like that. But there was only one referee I ever remembered interacting with. And it was because this guy was funny. Like he could tell when I was getting pissed off and I was getting ready to foul somebody pretty hard. And he would come up to me and say something funny or witty or whatever. And I always remembered him. I don't know if he's still refereeing. I know he worked for a while with Board 12. His name is George Nexus. I don't know if any of you know him. But I just remember he always got me to laugh. And so that's kind of how I got into officiating. All I really wanted to do was to work a varsity game, and then it was to get to the state tournament. And then every time I would achieve one of those dreams, I would kind of just raise the bar, right? So now I've had the good blessing of working men's Division I college basketball in multiple leagues on the East Coast. I still work some Division II and III on days that I might be available. And honestly, I'm real passionate about just helping other officials and teaching. I'm a part of an organization called Court Club, and that organization is basically founded by former supervisor of officials Ed Rush, and it is all about training and mentoring and trying to help officials reach their potential. So I've had the fortune to be around some really great people, learn from them, and then also try and reach back and help as many people as I can, just like somebody reached down and helped me. And at every level, you need to be a mentor to somebody, and you need to find a mentor, somebody who's working at a level that you aspire to get to. And over time, those people have changed. The people that first took me under their wing when I started out, they then passed me off to some other people and vice versa. And at every level, you find somebody who is willing to help you and you pass that person off. And it's really just about building relationships and really trying to understand and focus on the process of officiating. I tell people all the time, if you're worried about what game you're trying to get or what trophy you're trying to get, whether it's the state championship, whether it's, junior college, Division III, 2-1, if you're focusing on the what you want, you're not going to get there nearly as fast as you could if you would focus on the process. And my first 3 years in officiating, I didn't really do any video work, and I got better, but it was a very slow progression. After I came into contact with Ed Rush and he started teaching me how to do the video review and retrieval process, how to really look at myself, look at my positioning, look at the decisions that I'm making on the floor, and really dive deep into my games. That was when I started seeing really incremental growth in my officiating. And then, as I got more confident in the craft, I really started understanding that we are in the customer service business, right? So we're not in the, friend business. I don't care if the coaches like me, but I do care if they respect me, right? And I do care that I have to show them respect, and I have to treat them how I expect them to treat me. And while I don't ever advocate or suggest that we should cater to anybody, we do have to understand that, we are one role in this game. Nobody outside of maybe a family member or a friend who you got a free ticket, nobody's coming to watch you. Everybody's coming to watch the players. And so at the end of the day, we're a small part of the game that we love. And, last year, Ted Valentine, he retired from officiating last year, right? And so for those who may know who he is, like, we're still playing games. Ted was one of the best officials in the game. And the games are going on. When Joey Crawford retired, the NBA kept playing games. So the games are going to go on. It's not about us. But if you can look at it as we are providing a service, and we need to do it professionally and in a way that we hold ourselves to a high level of excellence. And so we're not going to be perfect. And it's okay when we make mistakes. We're human. We don't always have to be right. One of the biggest things coaches criticize us for is that they think by our actions and by our words, they think that we're arrogant. They think that we don't know how to communicate and we can't admit our mistakes. And what I've learned is if you make a mistake, or let's just say, you got the play right, but the coach doesn't want to hear it, right? Well, one of the things that I tell the coaches is, hey, you know what? I didn't see the play that way. I could be wrong, but I just didn't see the play that way. But if it happened like you said it did, then maybe I got it wrong. Or maybe I didn't have the right look, right? What can they say to that? Right? It doesn't, I don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. But our goal as officials should always be to get to the next play, to bring the emotions down, keep them as even keeled as we can, and get to the next play. And the more you do that over time, coaches will become comfortable with you. And the more comfortable they are with you, and comfortable just means they know they're going to get a fair shot. They know that when Chris Miller's on the game, it doesn't matter that we're in a hostile crowd. Chris Miller's not going to succumb to the pressure of that moment and give the other team a call that they don't deserve, right? So that's all we can ask for. And believe me, even if the coach is your neighbor, once that ball goes up, he ain't your neighbor anymore, and he really doesn't like you anymore unless your whistle goes off in his favor. Now, after the game, you guys can be neighbors again, and you can have fun. But, hopefully everybody on this call, at some point, you are an athlete in some way, shape, or form. And you can understand that when it was game time, we all have that switch that we flip. And sometimes you act a little crazy in the heat of the moment, right? And so the coaches are the same way. And so once it's game time, doesn't matter if it's your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your neighbor. If they're the coach and you're the referee, we're on opposite teams, right? And so that's just part of the game, and we got to understand that. And so like I heard it said a long time ago, and this kind of made sense to me. As officials, we should treat the players like we would treat our children, right? We allow them to do certain things. We don't allow them to do certain things. And that's just the way it is. These are our rules, and you're going to play by them. But the coaches, you got to treat them more like your spouse. You're not going to just shut them down and come in there and it's my way or the highway. You're going to have a little bit of empathy for what they're going through. You're going to try to get them off the ledge and to work with you. And then obviously, if you have to, you're going to draw a line and you're going to stick to it. But when I heard somebody say that, it made a lot of sense to me because it's not an adversarial relationship. And it's also not a dictatorship. We're not the end all be all. If our goal is to just be stewards of the game and to make sure that both teams have an opportunity to do what they want to do. That being said, that's kind of like my background. I've got some plays that Sean told me had a little bit of time to go over some plays and talk about some of our here we go, share. Let's see if I share this screen. Optimize for video. We don't need sound. There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, you're good, Mike.
Okay, cool. Pull the chat up over here. All right. So I start out with just a block charge play, right? So I'm gonna play it one time through, and then we'll talk about it. And actually, boom. All right, we're gonna pause it there. So I would like anybody in the chat. I've got the chat up. I can see it. So we're just gonna look at the play. First look there, right? All right, I'm not gonna show you what they have. I'm gonna show it to you one more time, and then I want people to start talking in the chat. What do you got a block or a charge on this play? And why? All right. Somebody throw something in the chat, or we can come off mute and let's make this interactive. We don't have to. I don't like to just.
Hey, Mike, this is Quentin. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. I'm not sure if you remember who I am, but I can.
Come on, man.
It's sort of, it's kind of blurry for our side, from my side. It's like, or choppy, should I say? So I can't really see. I was just trying to see if it's choppy for anybody else.
Is it choppy for everybody else?
Yeah, it's choppy for me too.
All right, let's slow it down. See if there's any better. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
better.
is better.
Thank you, Quentin, for letting me know. All right, so I got 2 charges. Defender never established legal guarding position. I got block. All right. Oh, we're changing now. All right. So I start this play for a reason, right? So if all we see is this right here, right? I can understand why we would think potentially charged, right? And to me, this highlights the importance of angles and also the importance of understanding what we're supposed to be looking at. So we're going to show you the leads view now, right? And now, is that defender legal? What does that defender have to do to get legal? Anybody?
Both feet facing the offensive guy. Both
There
feet
you
flat on the
go.
floor and facing the offensive player.
Right? So this offensive player is going this way in that straight line, right? So in order for this defender to be legal, he has to get in the pad, and you see how we have a T there? His shoulders have to be right here along this line. And he has to do that before contact ever happens. So it's darn near impossible for him to get legal on this play, right? So now when we play it through, boom, you can see that clearly when the contact occurs, he's not legal, right? Now, if I was to show you this angle first, I think we all would agree that it's probably an easier call, right?
Exactly. That
Right?
was my biggest takeaway, Mike. I'm glad that you jumped on that. It's all about the angle and the look. Absolutely.
Exactly. So have you ever been in the center or the trail position and your partner calls a block and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this guy looking at? That's clearly a charge. Well, so now as we're going through this play, what I like to do is pause here, right? So first off, if I was going to coach up my partners on this play, right? First thing I'm looking at is the trail, right? To me, this guy's going a lot faster than the trail is, right? So I would like to see the trail. Yes, we want to trail the play. We want to stay 2 or 3 steps behind, and then to the left or the right. We have a big picture mentality, which just means that I'm looking out here and trying to see as much of the floor as I can, right? So I'm coming up the floor, big picture mentality. Then he kind of just slows up here, and now you see how much more space is here. Look, we're 3 minutes into the second half. You just had a 15-minute break in the locker room. Let's get up the floor, right? So I would love for him to be up here on this play. Our center, pretty good position, right? And then our lead, if you look, he's nice and wide, and he's looking at the next defender, secondary defender, who can hurt it. So he gets down the floor. Now, real quick, we have in transition, okay? We have these lanes on the floor. My lines aren't real straight, but this is lane 1, this is lane 2, and this is lane 3, okay? Now, when you're the lead and the ball's coming in to lane 2, comes down the floor in lane 2, which is lane line to lane line, you want to be about, I'm going to draw it over here, but you see how you've got the 3-foot post-up mark over here? You want to be somewhere around the 3-foot post-up mark over here. If the ball is coming down the floor in lane 1, then you want to be wide and have the ball inside your outside shoulder. If the ball's coming in lane 3, then you would want to come to lane line like you might potentially rotate over. Okay? So now when we look at the lead when he comes into the picture, the ball's here, he's outside, and his head is right at the secondary defender. So the whole time, he's looking at the right place, standing in the right place, and now that call becomes easy, right? So again, it's not a hard play if we're looking in the right place, but it's a really easy play when we understand who can see what. Now, does anybody not think that we should be having continuous motion on this play? Is anybody putting this on the floor, saying no shots? All right, good. So, you know, now the college game has modified their interpretation, whereas the high school game has had it right for a while. But once he gathers the ball, he ends his dribble, contact happens, you can finish your normal footsteps, and that play will be 2 shots. Any questions or conversation on that play anybody has? All right.
I got a quick
Go
comment.
ahead.
Quick comment on that, Mike. So,
Please.
on the continuation. So, if you could rewind that back when the contact is made or when the foul is called. His left foot, I believe, is his pivot foot at that point, correct?
So
bam.
I wouldn't split hairs, right?
Okay, maybe he's in the air.
So if we want to like slow it down and go frame by frame, then yeah, probably his left foot is, and you can consider travel, right? But we wouldn't split hairs, right?
We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Because if we start splitting hairs, then what's gonna happen is we're gonna start calling things travels that aren't, which is a cardinal sin. Anytime, it's much better to miss a travel that we don't call than to miss a travel that we do. Because when we call a travel that's not there, we're taking a possession.
Right.
As opposed to if we miss one, the defense still plays defense. And honestly, I think, for me personally, I think travel was the hardest call to make because the players have really been working on their skills, and it looks so good that you're like, I don't know. So we're just going to let them play.
Yeah. Good point. Thank you.
Sure. All right, we'll look at the rebound play on this one. Now, rebounding plays, just a guideline again. There's kind of 2 times that as we're processing rebounding plays, there's kind of 2 times that we want to put air in the whistle on rebounds. The first is possession consequence, meaning I contact you, and as a result of that contact, I get the ball. So if I'm standing behind you and you jump in the air and I push you a little bit, and now you go forward and I get the rebound, that's possession consequence. The other one is cleanup, meaning this is just too rough and we have to call it. It doesn't matter if you get the ball or not. It's just too rough and we have to clean it up. So on this play, let it run through here. So you see we're in overtime. Okay. You see that the visiting team is down, or excuse me, up 3. And then here, boom, he just 2-hand or forearm shoves him and moves him 6 feet, right? Now, I mean, that player, number 6, started right here and winds up right there, right? So my hand's already going up because it doesn't matter if he gets the ball or not. That is just too much contact. I can't shove a guy 4 feet forward and be allowed to not be penalized, right? So, and of course, what did I do? Right? They never foul. But to me, that's an example of a cleanup rebounding play. And so right here, boom, I mean, he just comes in, gives him a shot to the back. If we don't call that, right, now we go to the other end of the floor, and what's to say that 6 isn't going to retaliate? Or worse, even worse than that, if we go to the other floor and we have some kind of illegal contact that we call on white that doesn't meet, the same level of contact that blue just had, and we're in a 3-point game in overtime with 2 minutes left, that's really hard for a supervisor to defend, right? So it's real easy for a supervisor to defend this call because ball goes up, 6 starts here, and winds up here. 6 feet. So it's a real easy call. Now, again, it comes down to our positioning, right? So when this shot goes up, we talked, the shot's going up in lane 3. I'm lane line extended because I was thinking about rotating over. But when the shot goes up, now I'm backing up to be able to see my competitive matchup, and my head is right on the problem, right? The problem is white has inside position. So the only way for blue to neutralize this is to quickly go around him or to go through it, right? And so here, eyes are right there watching, boom, easy call. If I'm still standing here on the O when that happens, I probably can still see it, but clearly from back here, I've got more of an angle through these players than I would if I was on the O looking this way, right? So it's really important as the lead on rebounding, you don't want to be rebounding coverage on the lane line. You want to try to get a little wider. Now, I don't want to be all the way out on the D unless there's a shot coming from over here. But again, if we look at this picture, when the shot goes up, we don't have but 1, 2 rebounding matchups, right? And so I take the one closest to me here. After the shot goes, the center will take this one, and the trail has everything. He's our safety net. So if we stick to those fundamentals, this play becomes a lot easier. Any questions on that? Thoughts, comments? All right.
You spoke about the
I do
C.
have a question.
Yeah, please.
So the shot was gone. The foul happened while the shot's in the air. So if the ball goes through the basket counts, right?
That is correct.
Gotcha.
That is correct. Yeah, because right now it's a loose ball.
Yep.
It's no team control. So boom, he hits them. If it was to go in, we would still score the basket, and then white would get the ball. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
You spoke about the C picking up that rebound help. And now there's a lot of emphasis on taking the shooter up and down, whereby the C's, he's probably not going to have that angle visibly on that rebound help on that other side.
Yep. And that's why the trail is kind of our safety net, right? So from up here, I wish he wouldn't have stepped back, but from here, the trail, if he's standing, let's just say the trail is standing where the coach is, right? He can look through and see everything. Now, if the trail catches my eyes, he knows that he doesn't have to referee here. And so now he can go and extend and help over here. But from the trail over here, he can still see all of this. His goal is to see as many of the 10 players as he can. And so in that situation, we should look at each other's eyes. If he sees that I'm on this matchup, then he knows he needs to find another one, and then he can go here and help. It takes about a second from when a shooter goes up, releases the ball, and comes back down. It takes about a second, right? So if we do stay up, right? Boom, down. He's already down, right? So right here, he's down. He's up, down. Now we don't really have to worry about him anymore. So right here, the ball's not even halfway to the rim yet. As soon as he comes back down, he's good. Now I can check off and come here as the center. So yes, you could potentially miss a little bit, but typically it takes a second to a little bit, maybe a second and a half for the shooter to go up, come back down. We determine they're good, and then we find our next matchup. And that's why we also said the trail, you have that big picture mentality, and you're helping with anything obvious.
Hey, Mike, you touched on it for a quick second, and I know the trail has many championships and Final Fours, but talk about the trail stepping down on that play instead of bailing out.
Yeah, 100%. So here, I don't even care if he stays there, because the ball is not, anytime the ball's at the rim, we want the trail below the 28-foot line. If we're shooting a jump shot from right here, I'm okay with the trail staying at the 28-foot line. I would rather not see him back up. Now, the rationale for that is, if we are backing up, mentally we disengage ourselves from the play, right? So yes, you can probably still see what you need to see from back there, but the chances of you blowing your whistle go down because you're disengaging your body, which then disengages your mind from the play. Just the simple act, if he would have just, he doesn't even have to move. If he would just put his weight forward on the balls of his feet as this ball goes up, he's now staying mentally and physically engaged on the play, and he wouldn't even have to take another step down because it's a jump shot up top. Now, if 21 drove to the basket and we had a play at the rim, then I would like to see him step one step forward, again, keeping his weight on the balls of his feet to just keep his mind and his body engaged on the play. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Chris, keep me honest here. I don't know how much time you guys have. I've got a couple more plays, or it's up to you.
Mike, go for it, man. A couple more plays is fine with me.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do a little screening play now. So, our games at all levels now, it's all screens, right? So we got to know screening rules, and then we've got to make a determination as to whether or not the contact had an effect, right? So on this play, I'm in the center, and the first thing that I heard this last year or the year before for the first time, and I'd never heard it before. When you're in the center position, think triple threat. Now, that doesn't mean triple threat I can pass, shoot, or drive to the hole. It's triple threat. I want to try to get in a position where I can see 3 different matchups. So as you see right here, initially, I can see this, I can see this, there's not really much to see here, but I can see a bunch of different matchups, right? So I'm okay in my position. When the ball goes here, number one, ideally, I would like to see me once I see this, okay? Once I see him look and he releases the ball, we call it doing our work early. In an ideal situation, instead of waiting for him to catch the ball and then I move, I would love for myself to start moving right now and working my way down low so that once he catches the ball, maybe I'm here already. Right. So if I'm watching myself on tape here, that's my takeaway is I'm not doing the work early enough. And so I'm half a step behind. But once he catches the ball, right, I cannot, if I sit here, I'm dead because I'm looking at his back. So I know I've got to either go up or I got to go down. Now, if you take the triple threat theory that I told you about, if I go up, can I really see between these two players? Not really, right? If I go up, I'm not going to have this look that I have if I go down. So my initial move is down so I can see through the immediate matchup that I need to look at. Then when I go here, I can see through here and I can see through here. If I was to have gone up on this play, I'd still be looking through here and I would have really horrible looks all around. So rule of thumb is as the ball, so the ball is going that way, right? So it's going right. I want to go left. If he took the ball and started going left, then I would stay right. So go opposite of the ball and then try to, again, see through the players and also try to see as many of the other matchups as you can. So I get down here, and once he puts the ball on the floor, anybody that's heard Batista talk about is sequencing, right? So our sequence is he caught the ball, feet, left foot's his pivot, right? So we go feet, pivot, release. He releases the ball. Now I go to the defender. The defender is about to get screened. So I'm now looking, okay, the defender's legal here. What's the next thing that can hurt me? Now, notice our trail here. He's looking through here as well. So screening plays, they're almost always two referee plays. So we're going to have number one, number two, number three, and number four. And I can't really draw where it'll go with my mouse here. All right. So now, from my perspective, since it started here, I've got to take the play this way. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. The trail is going to take the play this way. So he's going to go 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So if we take that mentality, we're going to have both sides of this play and nothing should surprise us. So once number one releases the ball and he's legal, I go to number two. Once number two is not interfering with number one, I now go to number three. Number three, in this case, is not legal. He hip checks him, pushes him, and then tries to pin him. And so I determined at that point that it was too much. Now, truth be told, what do the defenders do on this play? Switch, right? So if I would have processed this play a little bit longer and recognized that they switched, I don't know that I might have made a decision that, okay, that was not maybe 100% legal, but they decided to switch, and maybe there was not as much of an advantage gained as I had initially thought. Right. So I'm not saying that it couldn't be called a foul and that it shouldn't be called a foul, but when I watched this play, I thought to myself, okay, yeah, I can see it. And now my whistle goes off immediately, and the ball's passing over here. He's playing good defense. He's in position to play defense on this guy. Yes, we have a mismatch, but that was a decision by the defenders to switch. So how much of an advantage does number 4 or the white team get on that play? And the more I've watched that play, I'm not so sold that I love an illegal screen call on this. Yes, I can defend it by rule. I can say that the screener initiated contact. I can say that he turned into the player. But in the grand scheme of the game, what advantage did that contact have for the white team, right? And my whistle went off. I didn't let the play finish. I didn't collect all of the information. And on this play, I reacted to the initial bump instead of processing the whole play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Does anybody want to, does anybody have thoughts on this play?
Mike, this is Tim Morton here. I began speaking with you maybe like 2 years ago, out from Seattle. I
Yeah.
don't know if you're familiar, but I'm back home to Washington, D.C. If you let this play go here, would this be like a talk out situation, or is it too late? It's already happened.
I mean, so if I let the play go, and I don't have a whistle, yeah, I could. So most likely, what I would do is I would let the play out, and then at some point I would get the 4 and be like, "Hey, man, that last screen, it was close.
Got you.
Be careful, right?"
Got you.
I'm a big fan of communicating with the players in a way that helps them. So even maybe if we're coming off the floor, hey man, watch those screens, it's close. Now, obviously, if this guy goes to the ground, or let's say he like rides him all the way to the basket and they dump it into him,
Yeah.
well, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
But on this play, once he passes it up, I'm like, that wasn't the illegal screen that I wanted.
It happens. Yeah, thank you, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great question. Welcome back home, man.
Hey, man, it was your motivation. Thank you very much. It took me 5 phone calls to get to you. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anybody else have any thoughts on this play?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? This is Cordell.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much, not much. Yeah, screeners can be a lot difficult, try to gauge, because they happen so fast and quickly.
Yep.
And, your interpretations could be a different interpretation than another referee and stuff. And it's just, that play right there, I mean, like you said, it could have been both ways and stuff. You could have let it go and, try to talk to the foreman to try to say it cleaned up a little bit. But man, yeah, screening is that's what I'm trying to get better in, trying to gauge was that a legal screen or not. And when it
Yep.
happens so fast during the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what happened on this play for me is that I didn't process the play long enough. I kind of reacted to the initial contact, and I didn't we don't want to necessarily referee the result of plays, but we want the play to finish and then make a decision, just like we would on plays to the basket. And that's where I think on this play for me, I didn't process it long enough and I had too quick of a whistle. If I would have waited another half a second, I think I would have changed my mind and not. Or even if, if they don't pass to the guy over here, then maybe it is an illegal screen because of some other advantage game. So, yeah.
And under different circumstances, and I love the term, and I'm going to make it my own. In a different game, if the crew had gotten into some cleanup mode where
Yep.
you were trying to, bring things back to order, that would have been a perfect opportunity to do a little cleanup in a different game.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, is that sometimes it's not just the play at hand, it's the temperature of the game that we have to make a statement and make a use of our whistle to reel it back in. So 100%.
Yeah, Mike, that was gonna be my question. Like, what was the game time and situation for this game scoring situation? Like, I didn't know what the time scoring situation was for this.
Yeah. So I mean, I know it's second half because we're going here. I know we're about 4 minutes into the second half. But I would be lying if I could tell you I remember the score and all of that. But just this play on its own, I would not, without taking into consideration, other factors, just this play alone on its own merit, I don't think it's the best illegal screen decision.
Hey, this is Deron Tross. I have a question. You mentioned something about communication. During your pregame meeting, this is something that you and the crew talk about communicating with players?
Not necessarily with the crew. I think we call communication as a whole. But I think every individual kind of has their style. And we do talk about working with the players and working with the coaches, but not necessarily what we're going to or how we're going to do it, if that makes sense.
Now, Mike, just like you, this is John McManus. I like to communicate with the players too, like preventive officiating. First, I'll tell them, hey, watch your hands, get your hands off of players before I make that initial call. So, I mean, you're right. I mean,
and I think, we can communicate with them, especially early, and we can communicate with them until the contact, while it's approaching becoming illegal, but we can't communicate when it becomes illegal. Meaning, if I'm clearly rerouting somebody,
right? Yeah.
You can't tell me hands,
right?
Because I'm rerouting them and gaining an advantage. But if you see me getting a little handsy, absolutely, like hands, easy, hands, and try to prevent me from escalating it. I'm all for that. And I'll tell the players, like I had a game the other day and the guy was getting frustrated and I was like, hey man, come here. And so we were talking and I was like, look, I know he felt like the offensive team was pushing off a little bit. And so I told him, I said, hey, it's real hard for me to penalize him for pushing off a little bit when you have your hands on him and you're trying to slow him up. Now, I don't think that you've done anything to affect his rhythm, speed, balance, quickness, but it's also hard for me to call a push off when you've got your hands on him. So if you really want that call, I need you to keep your hands off of him. And the kid looked at me. It's like, oh, he's like, I got you. That makes sense. And then he changed the way he was playing, and the offensive guy was no longer pushing off, and so it was a win. It doesn't always
All
go
right.
that way,
Right.
but you know, anytime you can kind of explain to a player what you're seeing or why you are or aren't calling something, and I find free throws are a really good time to do that. Also coming out of timeouts, you know, those are two times when I try to talk to the players, in particular.
All right.
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, Mike.
Sure.
This is Harold Houston.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up? On that, going back to this play. So, I mean, of course, you didn't like your screen, but had white one drove to the basket, it might have changed your mind, and you would have thought that you had a good
Exactly.
screen. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah, I got you.
Yup, because at that point, the contact may have actually had an impact on Blue's ability to play defense. Yep. So I think it had the makings of an illegal screen, but anytime the defense switches, now I think we've got to process the play a little longer. If they're playing straight up and trying to go over or under, it makes it a little bit easier. But when they switch, it makes it a little more complicated, and I have to process a little bit longer. All right, let's do another straight line drive here. So here we go. But y'all, we'll go two angles again. First, anybody got thoughts? Defender illegal? Anybody think the defender is legal?
No, he's not legal.
Right?
Yeah.
So similar to the other play, right? Offensive player is going to the basket, straight, boom. In order for him to be legal, it's got to be T, right? Shoulders have to be here. So, you know, when you're out on the floor and you see these drives to the basket, if you take your eyes to the defender and once that player is right here, boom, this guy's dead. He's in trouble. He's beat. The only way for him to get legal, he has to get his shoulders in the path of the offensive player. And when your feet are this close next to the guy, you really don't have a chance. So if there's contact and that contact affects the shot, in this case, knocks him to the ground, you know, he starts going this way and ends up over here, right? So now that becomes easy, right? Again, transition. We talked about our lanes. He's coming down on the edge of lane 1 and almost into lane 2. I'm wide on the defender, right? So this is actually, he's a primary defender, right? So our center also stays with it. Once we get here, right? If I don't have a whistle, then I would expect our center to come. We don't need 2 whistles on this play because there's nothing else for me to look at. The secondary defender, 0, is not a factor. So I'm wide, see play, and it becomes fairly routine. Now, one thing, so I know in Maryland, right? Batista, as our state interpreter, wants us to walk and talk. And so presentation is an important part of it, right? So, clear the players. And if you look at so my cadence is I step left, 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 number, left, now getting to block, then left, 2 shots, right? So work on that cadence to the table, and then boom, I just back right out and I'm there, right? So as you're watching your film, look at your cadence to the table and see how it looks. If I'm reporting to the table and I finish up here and now I gotta walk, probably not getting it to where I need to slow it down. If I'm walking all the way and basically writing it in the book, probably also not what I want to do. So look at your cadence to the table, and see what it looks like. Can't see who, but I see there's a hand up.
That would be me. This is George.
Hey, George.
On that play, how you doing, Mike? I was watching the play, and you can pretty much tell that the defender is dead in the water. When the guy driving to the basket, Green, white 55. If you watch his left arm, it's something that we use in football, where we say we don't see 4 hands, and we only see 3. Where's that other hand? Where's that other arm? And what is that other hand doing? And you can see him make first contact with his hand and forearm into Green's hip. So that hinders him going up. Yeah, I mean, some people see that as a block with the body, but it eliminates his ability to actually continue going up when he puts that hand in his hip. So that's one of those things where, when you have to get deep and you see that whole play like that, and it's not an immediate thing. And a lot of folks, something I did, I worked on having a slow, patient whistle. It doesn't, when you see the action, meaning the contact, the foul, you don't have to be immediate. Give yourself another, 1 to 2 seconds, process it again, and then give a good strong whistle. You've had time to, rethink it, replay it. Now you know what you need to do when you're going to the table to report. But I wanted to point out that I'm like, I know some people see that as body contact, but I see the foul as that forearm going into the hip.
Yeah, right
and
there.
that throws off his balance.
Absolutely. I like that. I've not heard that before about C4 hands.
Yes.
And so like if I'm taking it from the center's perspective, right? Because it's really his primary defender, because it starts here, boom. So if I'm the center, here I can't see 4 hands. And so if I need to make a decision, that can help play into my decision making. And then again, from the lead's perspective, like right here, all right, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. And then he comes out, and that hand is still on there. I like that a lot. I've not heard that, but I'm probably going to steal that and use it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the beauty of, officiating football and basketball. And I try to tell people that, like, when basketball season comes along, I'll tell them certain things that we do as football officials. And as football officials, I'll tell them certain things that we do as basketball officials. I said, because, everything is about illegal versus illegal, advantage versus disadvantage.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that, George. I learned something new today. I like it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Chris, you want to do one more or you want to call it?
Yeah, as much as I would like to do one more with you, I could talk basketball with you all night, Mike, as you know. So, yeah, I got a couple things to go over with everyone. So, man,
Absolutely.
this has been great stuff, great information. People pay a lot of money for this stuff. So I want to thank you personally for coming on, and hopefully we can do this again real soon.
Absolutely. I'm putting my email address and my phone number in the chat. You guys feel free to reach out if I can help you out in any way. I this is just something I'm passionate about, and a lot of people have helped me along the way, and anybody that I can help along the way, that's what this is all about. So my contact information's there. Feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, you want to go to a game, you want to, send me a play, get my opinion, or just questions in general, man. I'm happy to help any way that I can. And thank you, Chris, and Sean for having me. And if I can do anything else, let me know.
Thanks a lot, Mike. We will definitely take you up on that.
All right, guys. Hey, wish you all a great Thanksgiving with your families. Stay healthy and have a great season.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, real quick, guys. I'm not going to hold everyone.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a quick question before you close out?
Yes, yes.
Are you planning on doing any film review during the session, during the season? Reason I ask, I'm the commissioner of the football group, but we have film review on Wednesday nights. Even if it's not once a week, maybe every other week. This is my opinion. Probably would be good.
Yeah, it's really hard with me working still and evaluating.
Understand.
I do
I'll catch you off. I'll catch you
video.
offline. I'll
Yeah.
catch you offline. I understand. Go ahead on. I'll catch you offline.
Okay. I do some video evaluations where I send to crews, and Sean does as well. So that is part of our program. But having a night to do it is just, I mean, I just don't have time, unfortunately. So I did want to, I know most everyone on this call has already been through a rules clinic and was at the general membership meeting, but I just want to touch on just a couple things real quick. Just points of emphasis. Last year, we had a lot of issues with, I won't say a lot of issues, but issues with bench decorum, mostly generating, I think, at least in my games, from the assistant coach. Assistant coaches are not allowed to stand. They're not allowed to berate you or whatever. Address problems. Ask the head coach to help you. If he can't help you, then there's tools to use to prevent that assistant coach from behaving that way. Or if it's the head coach, you give him a warning, you give him a behavior warning, or whatever you need to do. Let's try to get a grasp and get a hold of the bench decorum. Obviously, this new rule of goaltending this year, goaltending has only occurred by a defensive player. Obviously, it just said player last year. Now it's defense only. Ball hits the backboard and has a chance of entering. It's off limits. It's goaltending. The next one was the throw-in spots. I want to harp on real quick. Last year, we had this trapezoid thing. We've now gone to the three-point line. So any stoppage of play that occurs on or within the three-point line, on or within, goes to the end lines, 3 feet outside the lane line. Outside the three-point line goes to 28-foot mark. All right, this applies to the front court and the back court. So please be mindful of the new throw-in spots. basket interference and technical foul. Now, players can slap the backboard. However, if they slap the backboard and the ball is in the cylinder or on the ring, and you deem that slapping of the backboard to cause that ball to not go in, then that would become basket interference. All right. Now, there's still the obvious one where a ball goes up on the right side and a player slaps the backboard on the left side. That is the technical foul. That's not making a legitimate shot block attempt. That would be considered a technical foul. I talked about intentional fouls as well. This is normally, into game situations, close game. It's not automatically a intentional foul. I'm sorry, intentional foul. It's not automatically an intentional foul. Instead, officials are expected to judge contact based on more physical and safety related criteria, not the intent of just stopping the clock. That is, use your judgment, use your best judgment. If it's excessive, it's still intentional. If it's just to stop the clock, player reaches out, maybe slightly grabs a jersey, that can be ruled a common foul. Continuous motion, again, please look at the rule. A player is allowed to finish, as Mike showed in his video. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They can finish, they can get fouled, their dribble has ended, they get fouled, they're allowed to one step and continue. If they're at the rim, what else are they doing? Unless they actually pass it, what else are they doing if they're at the rim? Give them the benefit of the doubt. All right. For those that have not viewed the rules clinic yet, please do so. Their days are winding down. You got a couple weeks left. There's a lot that still have not viewed it yet. Also, taking the test. Please take the test. I look at it every day. I know most of you, I'm probably preaching to the choir here because most of you, looking at the list, most of you have already done it. But there are a few on here that have not. Please make sure you do those. Arbiter. Again, preaching to the choir probably. Please log on daily. Like, I think we had 60 declines the other day because officials are not, the deadline's passing. Like, you haven't logged on in 3 days. Like, it's a hassle to Jerry. It's a hassle to me, Dave. We're reaching out to people, emailing people, trying to get the games covered. Like, if you just log on daily, you can't miss the game. It's impossible. And also, I'll talk about blocks. Please block out your calendars. Like, if your wife's birthday, if you're out of town, if you're working football, softball, whatever it is, please block out your calendar. If you're open, we have thousands of games. I'm pretty sure that if you're open, you are going to get a game. If you're open and you get a game and you decline it and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot," it's just, I'll just say this is not a good look. Just please help us out, whatever you can. Block out your calendar, block out your dates, and that's how we can help the whole association. We put other people in a bind when we've got to cover for someone that declined a game last minute or whatever. Lastly, and most importantly, thank you all for taking your time to come out and be a part of this. Mike had a lot of good stuff, man. He has so much knowledge, and this stuff, like I said, if you go to camp, you pay $300, $400, $500 for this information. He's willing to give it to you for free. He's giving your information. He gives his information. Please use him, reach out to him, whatever you need. from him, I'm sure he's more than willing to give it to you. So lastly, if anybody has any questions or comments for me, I'm open.
Hey Chris, this is Tim Morton. I don't know if you said it already, but I remember I called you the other day about the jackets. Have you said it already? Have you mentioned it?
No. I'm still waiting. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm trying to wait for this last shipment to come in.
Okay,
That
okay.
way I can get everyone out. Hopefully it'll be in the next few days. As soon as it comes, I will send out a blast and meet up with people and get your jackets there to you that way.
Thank you, man.
I did forget to mention Arbiter as well. Please, there's a lot of new officials. Most of you have photos in there, but if you don't have a photo in there, please put a headshot in there so we can know who you are and they can know who you are. So they're not looking around the gym blindly. At least have a picture of somebody. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, not a question, Chris, but just something you had mentioned about the slapping of the backboard.
Yes.
Just so people are mindful of certain plays, about the ball being smacked on one side. Try not to get caught up if a player goes up and then they reverse it and they put the ball up on the other side, and the defender goes to block it but slaps the backboard and they're putting it on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, make it be obvious. It's got to be something, I don't know if I've ever called it. It's got to be something that's just clearly, blatantly obvious that there was no intent for that person to block the shot.
Hey, Chris, real quick.
Yes, Carlos.
Hey, I just want to say, I know we all watched and talked to Mike Millione. He did a great job in his presentation, and I personally appreciate that. I think one of the big things we all can take away from that is to have a better pregame. If you take the little tidbits, the little small pieces of the pie that he gives you and everybody else gives you, and incorporate that into your pregame, that gives you a better game overall, no matter who your partner is, whether you work with them 15 times or one time or 10 times. I think if we all take that back and put it in our toolbox and pick one thing, and you said and Dave said before, if you take one thing and pick on it and work on it each quarter, each 4 minutes, that betters your game towards the end of the season.
100% agree with you. I think our pre-games have, at least the ones that I've sat in, have been a little short. I think we can do better in that. But the information Mike has, you definitely could add to your pregame.
I totally agree. And I think a lot of it, I'm speaking for us veterans, and I'm not sure anybody else, that we get into that mindset, oh, we've had Calvert before, we've had Northern before, we know number 4 is going to do this and 3 is going to do that. Well, you don't know what's happened to the last time you had them. They could have dropped the player, brought a player up. They could have had a player, and he changed his whole game. So you can't go by what you had last game. It takes a responsibility, at least somebody in the crew, whether the crew chief or one of you two, to go back and at least do some type of background on both teams, so you have a better understanding of what type of game you could have that night.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
NFHS Network.
Thank you for the plug, and thank you for the reminder. NFHS Network. I'm on it constantly. I'm watching games. I have Sean watching games, and anybody else that I can get a hold of watching games. Watch yourself. Like, you will take your game to another level just watching yourself, and you will realize and see things that, man, I didn't realize I was doing that. It will change your whole outlook on the game that you think you have.
Hey, Chris, since you brought it up, I'll add this 10 cents to it. There's one thing I take from the NFS network is your poise and how you stand. Your perception of how people perceive you as a referee, that goes a long way. I know sometimes I watch myself in some games like, why in the heck am I refereeing this game? Why am I here? It's a blowout. But you look at yourself on video and you're like, I should have never done that. That's looked at by so many people the wrong different way. Like, Why is he don't want to be here? Why is the calls going that way? Just, pretend every game is the game of the night or the game of the week. And I know everybody wants that game, but that game is the game you have that night.
Yep.
Whether it's a 1-point game all the way through or it's a 30-point blowout by third quarter, they're all still the same.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have it, it's like $12 a month. You can cancel it anytime.
Has St. Mary's got them in their gyms yet?
St. Mary's uses Huddle. So they have a different platform. So they don't have NFHS. They do use Huddle. I don't know why they chose to be different than everybody else, but that's what it is.
Hey, Chris, with that being said about Huddle, is there any way that someone could get the schools who operate with Huddle and they could, provide the website or whatever that they use, so we would be able to go back and view those games on Huddle?
What I can do is I can ask the county supervisor your question and see what his response is.
Thank you.
Because I know some of the games I've tried to watch some, and it's you got to pay by the game or something. I don't know, but I'll try to find out for you.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
The guys, the schools that use Huddle, all they have to do is download it into the Huddle. It's free.
That's the issue. They're not downloading them.
They do it for football, and that's how I get access to them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I'll reach out to Hanley and find out if we can get that.
Yeah, Ryan can download them. He knows how.
Okay.
The schools just download them into the photo. I mean, into the file, and everyone has access. Just have to grant everyone access.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other comments or questions? If not, we're going to close this thing out. All right. I appreciate y'all.
I'd like to tell everybody, have a great season. Stay in shape, stay healthy, and don't eat too much turkey.
Yes, indeed.
And hydrate. Start now.
All right. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, man. Y'all stay out there. Stay good. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm available pretty much anytime.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.